Tonight on KGW News.
Where have all the drivers gone?
A shortage of Uber and Lyft drivers is hitting Portland hard.
Plus, not only is Oregon suffering from a major drug addiction crisis, but the state ranks last in the nation for access to treatment.
Something's wrong with that, in my opinion. It means we don't care about people's lives.
And after nearly 2 years of wearing masks, we finally have a clearer timeline of when we can start to take them off here in the Pacific Northwest. Your news starts now. And thank you for joining us for this special edition of KGW News on this Sunday night. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm Pat Doris. I hope you've enjoyed watching the Super Bowl and the Olympics.
It's been a really fun day, and under normal circumstances, this would be one of the busiest days of the year for Uber and Lyft drivers, taking people home from Super Bowl parties. But things have changed due to the pandemic.
There might not be so many big parties, and there definitely are not as many rideshare drivers. So where have they gone? Here's investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi.
In a pandemic filled with stops and starts, it feels like people are moving again. Yet rideshare giants Uber and Lyft, they're struggling to bring drivers back, which can mean longer wait times for riders.
After a long trip of traveling, you just kind of want to get home, That's kind of where I'm at with it. I just want to get home.
It's a completely different vibe now, yeah. It's just, it just used to be so convenient.
Because you're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting.
There were about 17,000 Uber, Lyft, and taxi drivers in Portland 3 years ago. Today, there are only about 6,500.
Here he comes.
So where have all the drivers gone?
How's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Gerald McClinton is an Uber driver.
How long you been driving?
Over 4 years.
So you've seen the ups and downs.
I have.
So where have all the drivers gone?
A lot of drivers are not coming back because they're scared of, the COVID concerns,
During the pandemic, 77% of Uber and Lyft drivers in Portland said COVID was the primary reason they stopped driving.
I don't want to contract something and bring something home. I don't want to, get anyone sick.
Drivers also left because there just wasn't as much demand. Portland went from almost 13 million rides a year in 2019 to roughly 4 million last year. They weren't making as much. Pay models changed, so did bonuses. Drivers worried about safety, and unemployment benefits became available. But now, things are starting to change, and customers are returning to the apps, only to find out, at times, there aren't enough drivers.
Hello, this is Jason.
Jason, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
You used to be an Uber driver, right?
Yeah, I drove for about 6 years.
Jason Tim was one of Portland's most popular rideshare drivers with his tricked-out SUV. Uber even featured him in a promotion. But like thousands of other drivers, he left during the pandemic.
You think these Uber drivers will come back?
I don't know. I think there's a lot more opportunities for actual jobs out there with benefits and things these days.
Both Uber and Lyft are offering incentives to try and lure drivers back to the apps, but they face stiff competition from other gig services like food delivery.
So a lot of drivers switched to Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, many other gig economy jobs.
Sergio Avidian writes for the blog The Rideshare Guy.
Is this problem unique to Uber and Lyft as far as finding workers?
To me, from top to bottom, everybody, was forced to push their reset button and value what they're worth and what they're doing and should they change.
So Uber and Lyft are just like every other company in the country. They're fighting for workers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sergio, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it.
It's difficult to gauge whether this driver shortage really impacts how much you pay for a ride. But we do know the pandemic pushed a lot of drivers to quit, thousands of them. So the question is, will these Uber and Lyft drivers come back as Portland starts moving again? Kyle Aboshi, KGW News.
If you're heading home from a Super Bowl party, avoid southbound 205 right now. 2 lanes are blocked because of police activity. This is on the Washington side of the Glenn Jackson Bridge near the SR 14 exit. Dispatchers told us police initially responded to a report of a broken down vehicle, but they say this might now involve someone in a mental health crisis. And 2 lanes of southbound I-5 are also shut down right now at the Markham Bridge. Dispatch says there was a crash after a report of a wrong-way driver.
Health leaders say the worst of the Omicron surge appears to be behind us. It's a major factor in plans to lift mask requirements in both Oregon and Washington. Christelle Kumwe has a look at the latest COVID updates.
Oregon health leaders say the COVID-19 virus is losing momentum. The state's indoor mask mandate is set to end for the general public by the end of March at the latest. In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee says the outdoor mask mandate will end this Friday, but he's holding off to address the indoor mandate.
The worst of the Omicron surge appears to be behind us.
State epidemiologist Dr. Dean Seidlinger said newly diagnosed COVID cases have fallen 71% from the peak a few weeks ago, and daily COVID-related hospitalizations appear to have crested.
Recall that when we first sounded the Omicron alarm last December, credible projections called for hospitalizations to be more than twice as high as we've experienced. Thankfully, we never realized that dreaded breaking point.
He points to people getting vaccinated, limiting gatherings, and wearing masks, a requirement that'll be lifted at the end of March for both public indoor spaces and schools. But individual school districts will make the final decision about whether or not to drop masking.
So now we are entering a transition period.
In Washington, Governor Jay Inslee says the state's outdoor mask mandate for large events will end Friday, February 18th. He says the indoor masking policy will end in due time.
It is no longer a matter of if, it is a question of when.
He'll assess data before announcing an official date.
We know it's hard to keep track of all the updates, so you can look up mask mandates on KGW.com to get the latest. I'm Christelle Kumwe for KGW News.
A Portland man has a second job of sorts, and his only payment, gratitude from auto theft victims. He's made it his mission to recover their vehicles. Nick Hass has recovered 54 stolen cars, trucks, and motorcycles since last September. 54. He looks for reports of stolen vehicles on social media, then goes out and finds them if he can. Right now, Portland is seeing more than 1,000 vehicle thefts a month. Police can't take care of it all, so Hass says he's doing his part.
You know, it takes a village, and I feel like if I can lead by example, more people will start stepping up and doing the kind of things that I'm doing, and eventually these guys will start to realize this isn't a good idea anymore.
We certainly hope so. This Subaru is in Hass's auto shop lot. He rescued it from a thief and is fixing it up for the grateful owner. Unfortunately, a lot of the stolen cars end up trashed and stripped of parts for the black market.
Really great what Hass is doing. Still ahead here, Oregon's problem with drug addiction became worse during the pandemic, and getting help is more difficult here than anywhere else in the country. We'll tell you about the years-old plan to fix the system and the reason it's getting more support now.
Plus, a nonprofit helping kids in the foster care system. The ways a $10 donation from you can change a child's life.
And I'm Matt Safino. We are wrapping up our 3rd day in a row with record high temperatures. Still really warm out there, 51 degrees. And did you see the sunset tonight? Saying goes, red sky night, sailor's delight. It's actually skier's delight. We're finally going to get some new snow. I'll show you how much.
Welcome back. Let's talk some weather. Pat, can you believe how incredible the weather was for this Valentine's Day weekend?
It's been spectacular, and I know that you and I both ran outside. Laurel's training for a marathon, by the way.
Stop.
Matt's here now. Please tell us, Matt, it's going to last.
You know, I never thought I would say this. I was up on the mountain again today, and as I've been every weekend, basically, and I was like, I'm kind of getting tired of these bluebird days.
Oh.
I mean, we've had like 5 weekends in a row that have just been sunny and warm, so we need some new snow. Pat, I know you'd like to keep it coming, but all things have to change eventually. It's been an amazing run. This is the sunset tonight, looking southwest towards the Coast Range there. Just an incredible sky. It was absolutely stunning. I hope you caught it. And as I said earlier, red sky at night, the saying goes, sailor's delight. I'm calling it skier's delight because there is new snow on the way for tomorrow. But let's talk about how warm it's been for the last couple of days. 63 again today. That matches yesterday. This is a new record today. Yesterday we tied the record. And then, of course, on Friday, it was 67. That was a record not only for the day, it was a record for so early in the year. In fact, it was the warmest day we've ever had between November 17th and February 17th. How about that? So it's been a pretty amazing run of warm weather. The hot spot today was Bend at 70. Contrasting the cool spot this morning was Baker City. They dropped to 10. So we had a 60-degree temperature difference across Oregon today. 60s up and down I-5 throughout the Willamette Valley. And this, I'm happy to report, is rain. And it is headed our way. We are going to get some precipitation, which we need. And it's a fairly potent little system up here off the coast of BC. It's going to be dropping on down right over the northwest. And as it pushes on in, we are going to get some decent amount of snow all the way down to about 2,500 feet. So it's kind of perfect because it's not going to threaten the valleys or the hills, but the Cascades will get a lot of snow and several inches at the ski areas. And it's the entire run of the Oregon and Washington Cascades that will benefit from this. And California will get some needed snowfall as well down in their mountains. So let's zoom in. Notice the winds, no longer those strong east winds. There'll be strong west-southwesterly winds tomorrow. This is 10 a.m. We're getting a good rain, so plan on rain for the morning commute. It's going to be a soggy one. There's the snow in the Cascades all the way down to about 2,500 feet by tomorrow night. Tapers off on Tuesday, just a few scattered showers, not a whole lot of snow there or valley rain. Another little shot on Wednesday, then it dries out again Thursday and Friday. And then over the weekend, I think we'll begin to get back into it on Sunday. So it's been a long stretch of dry weather, really since early January until mid-February. So it's good that we're going to go back to getting some precipitation. And in fact, when you look at the snowfall forecast here through the week, we're going to go about 7-8 inches up on Mount Hood from this storm tomorrow and into Tuesday, and then lesser amounts as you go south. But again, this is the beginning. I think it's going to be a more active pattern going through the end of February and the first part of March. Freezing level still at 11,000 feet. It's unbelievable. It's 51 degrees. And think about that. That's like our average high for the state. And here we are at 9:15 at night, right? Okay, so rain in the morning. Plan on that for the drive. And then turning to showers in the afternoon. There may be enough sunbreak activity tomorrow afternoon to get a good sunset once again. Don't forget, it's Valentine's Day, so if you haven't planned for it yet, you still have time. 48 tomorrow, 49 on Tuesday with showers and sunbreaks and a few sprinkles on Wednesday. Then it dries out on Thursday and Friday, and the clouds will roll in back weekend. So the bluebird days are coming to an end, guys.
All right. Thanks for the reminder. Still need to get a card, by the way. Thanks.
Get on that.
Get on that. Still to come, we'll look at Oregon's addiction problem and the plan that could change it all.
It's no secret that Oregon has long struggled to battle drug addiction and provide treatment.
Now, new numbers show during the pandemic, we have hit rock bottom. The state has a plan, but as David Molko found out, it's been on the back burner for years.
Katie was an amazing young woman with an incredible smile. She lit up the room when she came in.
Kathy McInnes struggles with the loss every day.
You know, you never think it's the last.
Of her 28-year-old daughter, Katie Buckle, who for years openly battled alcohol addiction.
You're just constantly on a treadmill trying to grasp for any kind of help you can get.
With no available beds in Oregon, her mother says, she left for treatment. 2 days later, heart disease caused by long-term alcohol use claimed her life.
Why? Why did I have to send her to Southern California? Why?
Though she's far from the only one wondering.
It's very disheartening.
And here are the cold, hard numbers. According to federal data, Oregon now ranks worst in the country when it comes to the percent of the population suffering from any kind of illegal drug addiction. Add in legal substances like alcohol, and we're still second worst. And there's another strand to this story, treatment, when it comes to those who are seeking but can't access treatment. Out of all 50 states, Oregon ranks dead last.
Something's wrong with that, in my opinion. It means we don't care about people's lives.
The biggest challenge is access.
At the Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation in Newburgh, Executive Director Heidi Wallace points out, while they have enough beds, big picture, Oregon's system is essentially broken.
I mean, we say it all the time, hope is not a strategy. I can't have hope and have that be the only thing. You have to actually have a plan.
Though the state has had a strategic plan, we learn, 89 pages worth, for nearly 2 years.
The plan, I think, has been on the back burner.
And Jill Gray should know. After all, she's senior policy advisor for the Alcohol and Drug Policy Commission, the independent state agency that created it.
COVID's always going to be here, but that can't be our continuing excuse not to make progress.
With a law now in the works, she says, to compel more than a dozen state agencies to get efforts moving.
I will continue to partner with the legislature.
And the governor's office says expanding access to prevention and treatment are among her top priorities, pointing to new investments this year and last, along with funding from Measure 110. Though so far, the commission says they've been handed about $200,000 to get started. Their ask, Laurel, at least $100 million.
Wow, big difference. Thank you, David. And we want to let folks at home know that David is the newest member of our KGW team, and you'll be joining me co-anchoring weeknights 5, 6:30, and 11 p.m. soon. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too. We'll see you soon.
Welcome aboard, David. Still ahead, there are thousands of kids in Oregon's foster care system, and a local nonprofit is trying to change their lives. The way your $10 donation can help reach that goal.
Oregon has, on average, 10,000 kids in foster care. Their lives can be filled with uncertainty as they're forced to change homes.
Lamar Hurd tells us about a nonprofit offering a sense of security with each $10 donation.
It is such a pleasure to share the important work of Project Never Again. The nonprofit serves kids in one of their scariest times, when they're in foster care and face the upheaval of moving to a new home. The founder of the nonprofit knows the pain too well. Seema Stefani grew up in the system and remembers moving what few belongings she had in a trash bag. Project Never Again aims to change that. Volunteers work to provide duffel bags for the kids and teens. Each has what they call a courage card attached.
The hope is that every time a child looks at this, it gives them the courage to say, to carry on, to say, I can do this. There's someone out there who does care. So our volunteers actually personalize these cards, and we do thousands of cards every year. They handwrite these, and it goes in every duffel bag.
I didn't have anything, and I remember a caseworker gave me a bag of clothes, just in like a black duffel bag, and
Like you could still remember that today, exactly what that moment was like, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can close your eyes and you can go back to it. It's not something you forget.
I was not able to go back to my home. I was not able to grab any of my stuff, kind of what you said. I didn't get to grab anything, so I entered the foster system with the clothes on my back.
We were served a bad hand in life, but you know what? Look how beautiful you are sitting here today. Your voice is going to be impactful.
How many bags do you need?
At least 10,000 bags every year to ensure that every child in every county gets a duffel bag if needed.
So there you have it. For just $10, a child gets a duffel bag for their belongings instead of a trash bag. I first learned of Project Never Again a few years ago, and I'm so impressed by these volunteers. They have a grand vision with a simple yet critical mission. Lamar Hurd, KGW News.
And if you want to donate, I just did tonight. It's easy to do. You can go to Project Never Again's website, the address right there on your screen, neveragainpo.org. We'll be right back with a look at the Olympic medal count.
Today's Olympic medal count is brought to you on KGW by On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point.
Before we go, a quick look at the medal count. Norway leads the way with 21 medals, followed by the Russian Olympic Committee with 18, and the U.S. higher on the board now with 15 medals. It's taken us a while to crack the top 5. Canada also has 15 medals. Germany has 14.
And we added those medals tonight. We watched it earlier, the women's monobob, gold and silver. That was really exciting. You're still talking about that snowboard cross.
Right, Nick Baumgarten and his partner. We at the Doors house, we were yelling at the TV, top of our lungs.
And he looks just like Will Ferrell, right?
He does. It's crazy. Yeah, it's really good. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight.
And we're going to leave you with a live look at the Olympic flame burning in Beijing. There is more Olympic coverage straight ahead. We hope you have a great night and a wonderful day tomorrow.